Okay, hello. We are back after that technical difficulty. So I'm really sorry about that. I think my webcam is now working, thankfully. So I was just saying earlier that unfortunately I don't have Harry the gorilla in the background with me today, and I wish I had some beautiful, serene, peaceful, calm stuff, but unfortunately I don't. I'm in my kitchen today. The light's much better. So yeah, we shall see how it goes. So I've put my earphones in, so hopefully the audio's better, and now the webcam is working, so hopefully there won't be any glitching, like me and the kids call it at the minute. So I hope you're all well this week. So I haven't heard on the title, but last week I did some psychometry readings. So for those of you who don't know what that is, basically when you are clairsentient, it means that you can pick up on energy and pick up on people's feelings, and then you can use that to connect with spirit. So we did that last week. There was one name that unfortunately I missed, but the other thing I realised is that the readings worked much better when the people were live on air. So last week, hi Lorianne, last week when I did the readings, the people I did the readings for, or some of them, weren't available to watch the live. So it was a bit more difficult because I think if you've ever seen how mediums work, then you basically have, you give a message and then you use the energy of that other person to sort of bounce back. So it's good to hear sort of like, oh yeah, so some sort of validation basically. So last week, so I shared on my page that I think I did the first 3 readings. The people were for people who'd actually asked me for readings but then couldn't make the live. And afterwards, the feedback I got was, sort of like, it was like 80% right, Lindsay. I think I'd mentioned a lady with going to Torquay last week, and she said my grandma always used to go to Torquay. I described her personality, got that right, and she said, thank you, because she said I did feel like she was around me and I just wanted that validation. And I think sometimes it's nice, isn't it, to have validation from the spirit world that we're either on the right path, that we're doing the right thing, that we're in the right place, etc. And basically it's just having someone else go, and it's like putting their arm around you and going, you're going to be okay. So that's what we did last week. And I thought this week, I'm just going to leave it up to you guys. So if you want, you can either choose, you can have a tarot card, you can just give me a name and I'll see if I can connect with someone in spirit for you. You can have an angel card. So they're all pay-as-you-feel readings. So it's basically up to you. If you feel like that what I've said sort of makes sense or resonates, then you can pay. And if you think actually she's talking a lot of tosh, doesn't know what she's talking about, then you don't have to pay. But I believe in sort of like an exchange of energy. So that's why I do pay as you feel. So you go to PayPal and just send payment to nrghealingyork@gmail.com. So if anyone wants a reading, then you are more than welcome to have one. Like I said, you can either have a tarot card reading. Okay, Nikki, thank you. You can have a tarot card reading. You can have an angel card reading. You can give me your name, or you can give me a name of someone in spirit. And we'll just see what comes and have a bit of fun with it, if that's okay with you guys. So I've got to do, there is a lady who asked me last week for a name, so I'm going to start with her lady, if that's okay. And then I'll start moving on to you guys. So for those who've joined, you can have tarot card reading, angel card, or your name or name of someone in spirit, and it's pay as you feel. So the first name that I was given last week was the name of Hannah Harrison. And when I was just going up to the top before I came down to do this live, and when I was just thinking of this name, I was getting Emily, I'll explain in a minute. I'm just going to do this one reading for this lady, then I'll come back to angel cards and tarot cards. So with this, it was a girl. It was like I want to say that sort of 12 to 14 girl with sort of long mousy hair, and I felt as if she used to bite her nails, because I started biting my nails coming down the stairs and I never I haven't bitten my nails since I was about that age, but I feel as if she wasn't necessarily a very confident, outgoing girl. I feel like she was quite shy and introvert. And I can see her wearing a school uniform as well, so I feel like it's either like a navy or black with the the V-neck jumpers. And I feel like she was quite childlike as well sometimes, because I can see her with the skipping rope, and it's as if like she wanted to carry on being a child for as long as she could, but I feel like she had to grow up quite quickly in what she was doing. She's just shown me like a big heart, so I feel as if the lady that asked me for this reading, I feel like she's given the big heart to give to her mum, to just show her that she's thinking of her and she's sending her some love. She showed me a cat as well. I feel like she's got like a ginger cat in the spirit world, and she's holding and stroking it. And I just got that there's a guinea pig there as well, so I feel as if she would have had quite a few pets when she was younger. Let's see if she's got anything else to say. I want to say she was like quite artistic as well, because I've just started doodling, and I'm like, I never normally doodle when I do lives, do you know what I mean? So I want to say that she was quite artistic as well. And she's given me rainbows as well to give to her mum. And I feel as if her passing was quite sudden. I feel like she went quite quickly. But she said that she didn't suffer, do you know what I mean? There was no pain. I just feel like it was like something happened and that was it. And I feel like she wants to say thank you to her mum. There's so much love for her mum, honestly. And I feel like she's playing with her mum's hair as well. Yeah, so she wants her to know that she's around her and she's with her. And she's just sending her loads of love. Okay, so I will leave Hannah's love with you. Okay, so Emily, the difference between angel cards and tarot cards. I'll come back to Ben in a minute, Nikki. So basically the angel cards, I feel, have like a more gentle energy. So if I show you sort of some of the angel cards, so I use normally 3 different packs of angel cards for myself in a week. And I do the same when I'm doing readings for people. So if you sort of like have a look at like the images, someone's like surrender, they're very sort of healing. They're very like just gentle, awakening, illumination. Does that make sense, that they have a more gentle energy? So if, for example, if you're going through a particularly like tough time, and if you just want something that's kinder and not as sort of like in your face as the tarot cards, then that's what the angel cards give you. It's like a bit of reassurance, a bit of comfort, a bit of gentleness. Whereas with the tarot cards, there's some of them that like scare people, if you like. So you've got, let me just have a look. The tarot cards are split into 2. So you've got the major arcana, and the major ones consist of like the Hanged Man, the Fool, and let's see, the Sun. So these ones are quite sort of nice ones. But then like, say for example, you've got something like that, then the person, if you're starting to read them for yourself and you see that, you're going to be like, oh my God, what's that about? Do you know what I mean? So it can sometimes, on that one as well, some of them, they basically like ask you to look at yourself in a way that you might not be ready to. So, sometimes if you do a tarot reading for someone and you might say to them, look, this card is telling me that you may be feeling like a victim, and they're like, oh no, because they're not ready to address that yet. So it can sort of ring true, but it depends if the person reading it is ready for that. Okay, does that make sense, Emily? I hope that answers your question. And I feel as if the tarot cards as well can sometimes be more specific in situations. So if, for example, you're asking about a job scenario or or like a relationship, etc., they're a lot more specific. So this is the one that everyone sort of cringes at and goes, oh my God, the devil, or the death card as well. But the death card doesn't mean, that you're going to die. It can be the death of like a habit or an old relationship, or it generally means more new beginnings. So that's the main difference between them. So I feel like if I wanted to be like really specific and say, right, what do I need to know in my career? What do I need to know in my love life? Then I would probably ask the tarot. Whereas if I just say, right, what do I need to know now? Then the angel cards are a bit more gentle and less specific. Okay, so that makes sense. Do they work with different pools of energy? I don't know. I see, because I ask exactly the same question from the angel cards and the tarot cards. So I'll say to the angel cards as I'm shuffling them, I'm like, right, what do I need to know most this week? And with the tarot cards, I'll ask the same question. So does that make sense, Nikki? Do you mean like, do they have different energies around them? Is that what you mean? Or that I have different energies? Just to work out. So if you've just joined, you can have an angel card, a tarot card, or you can give me your name or the name of someone who's passed, and I will happily try and connect. And it's just a pay-as-you-feel read. And if you've got any questions in the meantime, feel free to hide them in the comments. By the way, hoi in Geordie means put in English. So just write them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. I'll just have a cup of tea. And then Nikki asked earlier for Ben Parkin, so I'll see what I can get from that. Bear with me. Right, Ben Parkin. What do I need to know about you? Okay, right, so Nikki, so the first thing that I got, right, the letter, because no, right, so Nikki, so no, the source isn't different, so it's the way that I read them, if that makes sense. So because with the tarot cards, they're asking you to face up to things that you might not necessarily be ready to face up to. That's why I say that that they're a bit different. So this Ben Parkin, Nikki, right? When I was thinking about him earlier, I got him in like motorbike leathers. So I feel like he was a motorcyclist, and I feel like I was just writing down and doodling again, but I feel like he was in his 40s as well. Okay, I don't feel like he was an uncle, but I feel like he was an uncle figure. I'm just getting that sort of feeling from him. And if he wasn't an uncle, yeah, like an uncle figure, you know how sometimes we have like family friends who are sort of like to do with our parents. Yeah, I feel like he's an uncle figure. I feel like he would have looked after you at some point or helped to look after you when you were younger. I can see him playing a guitar as well. I don't know how musical he was. I don't know if it was like a hobby that he did or he died young. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I don't know if it was a hobby he did or if it was something that he was interested in, but I can just imagine him playing guitar. Let's see if he's got anything else. Okay, I want to say that he died suddenly as well. I feel like there's something to do with the head. You love music, but you did guide, yeah. Yeah, I keep getting like fuzziness around my head, so I don't know. I feel like there was something to do with the head. Let's see what else he's got for me. Did he study? I don't. Yeah, you're not meant to ask questions, but I feel as if he would read a lot of books as well. I feel like he was quite studious, I want to say, and he would like absorb all the information. Do you know what I mean? But I don't feel like it was fiction. It was more like fact books, non-fiction. Use my English. It was non-fiction that he would like to really absorb and just take it all in. I just got the word joker as well, so I don't know if he was a bit of a joker, but yeah. He's telling me he had a wicked sense of humour. So I don't know if, that's right or not. Sleep is fine. Yeah, he's very upset. Okay. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else from him. Did he sing as well? Because I've just started going, singing. Yeah. I feel like he's got a lot, again, you know, like, he's got so much love for you, Nikki, coming through. I feel like he had a problem as well in one of his ears. Because my left ear's just gone, like, really blocked up. Loved singing Westlife. He's going, don't laugh. Oh, bless him. Yeah, there's definitely something around the head, Nikki. So I don't know. I know he said that he passed in his sleep, but I think something was going on in his, I want to say the brain for him. But I feel he was very clever. Knew what he was talking about. Yeah, he just wants to send you some love, Nikki. Is that all right? Oh, that's fine. Love singing Westlife. All right, that's funny. I often get nice guys in for you, Nikki. They've always got a bit of a character, haven't they? Right, so Kate, I'll write down Vera for you. Okay, so if you've just recently joined, then as I was saying, like this evening, it's up to you what you want. I can do you an angel card, I can do you a tarot card, or if you want to give me the name of a loved one who's passed. I've gone blurry again, haven't I? This camera. Sorry. If you want to give me the name of someone who's passed, then you can do, and it's all just pay as you feel. So if you think that I'm talking a load of tosh and it doesn't make any sense, then you don't have to pay for it. And if you think, actually, yeah, she was all right, I could take some of that, then you know, a little payment I'd really appreciate. Just only, I believe in exchange of energy, so you know, rather than me just sitting here going blah blah blah, then yeah, exchange of energy is always good. Right, bear with me. So Vera Cartwright. Bear with me, Kate, hold on. And I was just saying, if you've got any questions, just stick them in the comments box and I'll try and answer any questions as well. So if you don't know what the, Emily had asked earlier what the difference is between tarot cards and angel cards, which is a great question. And if you have any other questions, then feel free to ask me. Right, let me just have a little sip of my tea. Okay. So Vera Cartwright. Let's see what we've got for Vera. Okay, straight away in my head, Kate, I'm getting she was a very dominant woman. Like to tell other people what to do. I feel like she was a manager in some capacity, or she would have looked after like a number of staff. And I'm getting that she would put them in a place. I feel like it's something to do with like nursing or caring. Or like, yeah, nursing, caring. Like I want to say like maternity ward. Yeah. Because I don't feel, so she's making me feel like at work, you know, she was very in control and she was like, right, you need to do this, you need to do that, very military, I want to say, quite precisional. Is that a word? Precisional. But she's saying that, like, underneath it all, she was actually a bit of a softie. But at work, it was like a bit of a facade and a bit of a face. I'm seeing, and I don't know why, After Eight mints. I don't know what that's about. See if there's anything else. After Eight mints. Something to do with some sort of celebration. Don't know what that means. To me, After Eight's always to do with Christmas. So it could be Christmas. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Listen, Lindsay. Okay, I feel like she had a really large family. And I feel as if that facade that she had to put on at work sometimes ended up crossing into her family life. So I feel like she felt she had to be quite strict sometimes because there was so many of you. And that if she didn't, do you know what I mean, it would all just like come crashing down. So I feel like she set quite a lot of like boundaries in place, and she had her rules and she had her regulations. But it's because it came sort of from work back home, and it was, yeah, like, sorry, like it made sense to her. I just keep being shown tubs of sweets now. I'm getting celebrations and quality streets and heroes, just like loads of them, like stacked up. So I don't know if she used to save them or if she just used to love eating them. Okay, so I want to say something about like emphysema. Is emphysema where to do with your lungs? Or smoke? I feel like she used to smoke quite a lot as well, so I feel like there's some sort of emphysema there. Sometimes I get given these words, and I'm not exactly sure what they are. So, yeah, I don't know if any of that makes sense. Does that make sense, Kate? Oh, sorry, Emily, I missed Jeffrey. I'll just see if there's anything else for you, Kate, chick. I'm just getting the feeling now that she struggled with her breathing, like towards the end. You know what it is? All at the today or tonight, these spirits just literally keep going like this to me and just going whoosh, as if they're just like sending you it. Do you know what I mean? So she's just sending you again another beautiful red heart. She's just like love, love. So I hope that makes sense for you, Kate. You said whoa, so I'm presuming something sort of resonated. So if you could let us know, that would be great. Right, Emily. Let's have a look. Jeff Albury. So for anyone who's just joined, you can either have tarot card, angel card, name in spirit, and I'm doing. Thank you, Nikki. The condition is a smoking-related lung disease. Okay, thank you. Yeah, sometimes, like I said, sometimes I just get given words or stuff, and I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but it's a bit like catchphrase. I just say what I say, what's in my head, and it just has to come out, because if I don't say it, then I don't feel like I'm being like what's the word? Like an effective communicator between them and you. So if I start to try and think about it, oh, sorry, Kate, you're losing connection. If you go back and look on the replay, I'm hitting bullseye, great. Go back and have a look on the replay again, Kate, if you keep losing your connection. But yeah, so in order for me to basically pay homage, if you like, to them and to you guys, then I have to do it I have to just say what they give me and just put it out there. And if I start to try and interpret it or try and make sense of it, then it just all gets lost in translation. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm just going to have a sip of my tea, and then Emily, I will do yours for you. Just bear with me. Okay, Jeff Halbury. Okay, before I do this one, just so you know, when I did this last week, and what I did with the names is I folded them all up and just basically picked a name around them. And one of the names I picked, sorry, I love it when that happens. So Kate said that her mum worked around trees making after it. How cool is that? See, you have to say what you see. Right, cool, Kate, I'm pleased that made sense. Sorry, anyway, so getting back to last week. So I had the name of a woman in my hand, and the images that I was getting through was of a man. And later on, the feedback that I got was that I'd actually got this lady's husband through instead of her. So sometimes in the spirit world, if there's a couple, if one of the couples is more comfortable with coming through, has worked out how to communicate, then they can sometimes come through first, and the other one will sort of hover at the back a bit. So just so you're aware. I've got a bit of cold. Right, okay, so Jeff Halbury, let's see what we get for Jeff. Okay, so again, I'm just doodling because sometimes like that helps me sort of to communicate with spirit as well. So I've just written down that I feel like he was in his 60s, and then I was getting like Warawar, which to me, I don't feel like he's a pirate. So Warawar to me is like, sorry, either farmer, I want to say, in Yorkshire. So I feel like he's telling me he was a very humble man, and I don't feel like he wanted for a lot in his life. So I don't feel like he was very materialistic, and he didn't want, a grand house, and he didn't want a Merc, and he didn't want all this, he's saying like fangled nonsense. He wasn't interested in that. He just wanted to have, like his cup of tea, a fire, his I feel like it was a chair. He had his chair, newspaper. Do you know what I mean? He was quite happy with the simple things in life. I don't feel like he wanted, like I said, yeah, he's saying fangled nonsense. So he didn't want any of that. He was quite happy with what he had. I can see him he's making fried eggs, but he's turning them over. You know how normal, sorry, I'm not, but normally when you fry an egg, you normally only do it on one side, but he showed me that he's flipping over his eggs as well and doing them on the other side as well. So I don't know if he's saying that he liked them well done, or if just that's how he used to cook them. Yeah, so I feel as if he had his own chickens as well, I want to say. Okay, you're saying and cows and goats? Okay, he's given me Scarborough. So I just asked in my head, if he's ever if he travelled anywhere, but I don't feel as if he travelled extensively. Do you know what I mean? Or he travelled out. He's happy going to Scarborough. He likes Scarborough. And I've just got an image of him sat in a deck chair on the beach. With a knot hanky. Remember the knot hankies that they used to do? I feel like he's got one of those on his head, bless him. I feel like he was married, and I feel like he had a really happy marriage as well. It was like, the ones where people are just really, because he's making me feel so gentle and just comfortable. So I feel as if it was a very calm, comfortable relationship. And I feel like he doted on her. I feel like he was like, you know, he really loved her. He's going, never a harsh word, never a harsh word. So I don't know if any of that makes sense to you, Emily. I feel like he's got a nice energy, but I feel he's quite a quiet man. I don't feel he was very honestly, I wish they could stop giving me long words. He wasn't very presumptuous, and he never judged people. Honestly, I feel so calm in the presence of this man. And normally I feel calm myself, do you know what I mean? But I'm just getting this, like, real calm. Okay. He's trying to show me an object. I don't know if you've got, Emily, an object of his or something that was in his house. Let me try and see and clarify what the object is. I feel like it's a pan. I can't really expand on it, but I just got the image of a pan. So yeah, pan. Anything else, Jeff? Oh, so he's just given me this massive beaming smile to you. And he's just like, keep smiling, keep smiling. Oh, and he's blown you a kiss, chick. How nice is that? Okay. Okay, Emily, so I hope some of that makes sense for you. Just if you could let me know if it does, and if it doesn't, do you know what I mean? If none of it resonates, then that's fine as well. Because like I said, if you've given, sometimes when you get given the name, if that person doesn't come through, like it could be someone else. But yeah, anyway, let me know, Emily, please, because I'd like to know. Hello, Danielle. Hello, Patricia. So I was just saying, guys, for those of you who've joined, I'm probably going to be another 10 minutes because I really need to go in the shower this evening. But yes, you can either have an angel card, a tarot card, or you can give me the name of someone who's passed, or you can give me your name, and let me, just let me know what you fancy. You're welcome, Emily. And it's just pay as you feel. Like, if you think that what I'm saying is a load of rubbish and none of it makes sense, then, you know, obviously don't pay anything. If you think, oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense, that resonated, that was helpful, then just go on PayPal and drop me whatever you like. That's why it's called pay as you feel. You pay what you think. Not sure about some it's Mary Aldridge. Mary Aldridge. Oh, I have no idea who Mary Aldridge is, but I'm presuming that's more made sense about her. Okay. Okay then, Emily, I'll have a look at that for you. Yeah. Who's Mary Aldridge? If that's okay, or Aldridge. If you can share that, that would be helpful. And I was just saying as well, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, then drop them in the comments. I'm just going to have another cup of tea. I'm getting really thirsty, sorry. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm doing, I've got a corporate booking on the 25th of February where I'm going to go and do some readings for a team night out, which is very exciting. Your grandma, okay. So was Mary related to Jeff then? It's interesting. So I'm going to go and do my first corporate booking, which is very exciting. So I've been thinking about fun ways that I can make it sort of a bit interactive rather than me just standing there for an hour going blah, 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 blah. So I was thinking I'm going to ask them all to put their watches at the front of the table or their rings and then do some psychometry. And just then randomly pick some watches and pick some jewellery, because you can pick up as well, if you've ever been to see a medium, then sometimes they'll ask you, you know, for like a watch or for a ring. And it's because they want to pick up on the energy of you to help connect to the energy of spirit. Not related to Jeff. Okay, then, Emily. Jeff is mom's dad. Mary is my dad's mom. Right, okay. So they're on different sides. So the stuff that I said about the man doesn't make sense. It doesn't relate to Jeff, but it relates to Mary. Is that right? Because, okay. See, this is where sometimes I need to practice, because again, if you get two of them, right? So sometimes this is what happens. And if you get two spirits that come through and they both want to talk and they both want to give you stuff, then sometimes you can have what's called like a cross link, or you can have like the double energy. But right, okay, so some of them made sense. Okay, right, so that's, I need to try and unpick that a bit the next time. Okay then, Emily, come back next week, Emily, and we'll try again. Okay, and I'll try and ask them to be more specific. Yeah, and just give me one energy and not two. So do you know what I mean? So some, like, it may have been some of your grandma's energy coming in with some of Jeff as well, and intermixing, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me see. So okay, so I'm going to do these two readings, and then I'm going to call it an evening, because I could quite happily just sit and talk all night to everyone. But I'll be back again next week at the same time. So I'm going to do John Langdale, and then I'll do Roy, and then I'm going to go. Okay, so John Langdale. Okay, just bear with me a minute. Okay, the first thing that comes in my head when I was saying John Langdale is trucker. Okay, so I want to say that this guy, I feel like he was quite a large man. So yeah, so being a trucker, I feel like he spent a lot of time, you know, like away from the family home. Hello, Brian. I feel like he spent a lot of time away from the family home. Because he's telling me, listen, he's saying something about being isolated. And obviously when you're driving a truck, it's quite lonely work, isn't it? But I feel like he enjoyed it, and he liked, you know, the lonely, not like the loneliness. I don't want to say that. Okay, I feel like he enjoyed the peace, and he said there was something quite calming about just driving. Do you know what I mean? You know, you've got to go get from A to B, and that's it. There was no, he didn't have to think about too much. It didn't have, nothing was complicated. It was just very simple. It's like, right, you get in the truck here, you drive it to here, do that, and then you come back. So I feel like he didn't want any complications. Do you know what I mean? He didn't want anything extra, like burden in his mind, I want to say. I feel like he did it for a long time as well. I want to say like 30 odd years. Again, I feel like with this man, I feel like he went quite quickly, because I just got boom, and then I was gone. He's saying to me about Valentine's Day, about the 14th of February. So I don't know if that's an important date. It could be like a birthday, anniversary. And March the 8th. Okay, and he's showing me, he's telling me crocuses as well. I'm not very good with timings of flowers and when crocuses come out, but you know, the like purple crocuses. And I feel like there's something about patterned dinner plates. Because, you know, nowadays, a lot of them are quite plain, aren't they? And they're just like brown or cream or whatever. But he's shown me some quite intricate patterned dinner plates. And it's like the one he brought out for Sunday best, he's saying. So I feel like they're like in a cabinet somewhere, like on display, but they're not used very often. They'll only come out on very special occasions, do you know what I mean? And then they go back in the cabinet. Getting the name Daisy as well. Okay, so I'm saying as well, I feel like when he would come back from doing his trucking, it's like all the kids would pile on top of him. And again, I feel like he had his armchair, or his place to sit, and as soon as he sat down, it would be like, rah! Like pile on top. But I think he enjoyed that role. Do you know what I mean? It made him feel more childlike as well. Did he used to fish as well? Because I've just been doodling what looks like a fishing line. I feel like he's fishing. Doing that, like even though he's even though his job wasn't stressful, I feel like that's what he would do to relax or to have some time out. I feel like he liked a cup of tea as well. See if there's anything else. He just keeps saying to me, he keeps going boom, boom. So I'm not sure what that is. See if there's anything else. You know what it is, right? I'm holding my piece of selenite, right, to help connect with my obsess. And I want to keep doing this. So I feel like he was a smoker as well, because I feel like it's, that action that you do with a lighter. That's what I feel like he's making me do. He's like thinking his lighter. So I feel like with him, so like, we've had hearts tonight, we've had rainbows, but I feel like he wants to just give you like a massive bear hug, like an all embracing hug. Do you know what I mean? Where you like get lost in someone's arms. That's what he wants to give to you, Lindsay. Okay. Okay, so I'll leave his love with you, Lindsay. I said I hope that makes sense. So the fishing bit he didn't do, but a lot very similar. Cool. Okay, thank you very much for your feedback. Right, okay, so we're going to do Roy. So Patricia, can you give me a surname, please, for Roy? Is that all right? And I'll see what comes through. And then, yeah, we'll see. Once I've done Roy, then we'll do this again next week, because I quite like doing it. It's quite fun. I enjoy it. I'm going to be doing, if anyone's interested, you're welcome, Lindsay. I'm going to be offering readings from the Healing Clinic in town from the 18th of February. So if anyone wants to come along and have an in-person reading, we can do tarot, we can do angel cards, we can have half an hour readings with me, we can do basically like it's whatever, you can come along and whatever we feel needs to be done. So it might be spirits, it might be tarot, it might start with tarot and then end up with spirits. You never know who's going to come through or what's going to come through, etc. Okay, so Patricia, if you're still on there, can you give me Roy's surname, please? Good, right, thank you. Okay, so let's have a look then and see what we get for Roy. Okay, so I'm just going to, I find doodling quite helps me to connect because that switches my mind off as well a little bit. So let's see what we've got for Roy. Okay, with this man, I feel like he's quite a smart man. I feel like he's quite, I'm not very good with heights, but he's probably about, I think, about 5'10". So I feel like he's taller than me, and he's not massive. He's not dead skinny. He's like in between. He's just a bit sort of like, I would say just like quite broad shouldered. But I just seen wearing this, like, it's like a grey suit and a hat as well he's got on. It's not plain grey suit. It's like a grey suit with like a bit of black checking. And he's got a hat on his head. You know who he reminds me of, right? And I don't know if you ever watched this. There was a programme on about hairdressers called Desmond's. Can you remember it? I think it was back in the 90s. And there was a man there and he'd have his hat on his head and he was always like this. So whenever he met anyone, do you know what I mean? I feel like that's what he would do. I feel like he was a very polite man, very smart, very respectful of other people. And again, he's got a very gentle energy as well. But yeah, I just feel like I just feel like he just used to tip his hat when he was talking to people and when he'd meet people. And I can see him carrying a briefcase as well. So I'm just asking him what sort of work he does. I feel like it's banking or insurance or something. It's something to do with financial work that he used to do. He's gone. Sometimes these people make me laugh. Honestly, he says, but I wasn't boring. I wasn't boring. Bless him. Oh, make me laugh to do, honestly, sometimes. Oh, so I can see him dancing as well, you know, like twirling around on the spot. So I don't think he was like afraid to show his true colours. Does that make sense? I feel like people knew him and they would just be like, oh, it's just Roy again. Do you know what I mean? Oh, just Roy's having a little dance there. But I can see him sort of twirling with his feet and being like, ooh, like that. Let's see what else he's got. It's just given me like a really minty taste in my mouth. So I don't know if you would always eat, I want to say like polos. And you'd always have a pack of polos on him, I feel. I'm clicking my fingers now. You know, I want to say like jazz. There's something to do with jazz as well. Jazz band. Yeah, something. There's definitely something musical about him. It wasn't Roy, was it not? Whoever this is, I feel like he's quite musical. So you know how earlier I was saying about names then? I want to go back with this gentleman. Because I've just asked, you know, what time period, what era are you in? And I've got 1920s. Let's see if I can get anything else off him. I feel like there's an America connection as well with this man. I want to say New York. He obviously wants to come and speak to you, Patricia, whoever this gentleman is, but I feel like he's got a lot of character. He's very like, on the one hand, because I said, you know, there's the financial banking job that I had. So I feel as if that's what he did because he had to, do you know what I mean? That was how he made his living. But I feel like he's a very colourful character in that, you know, like I said, there's dancing, there's jazz. What was the last thing I said? I can't remember now. Dancing, jazz, New York, something about like stage and dramatics as well. So I feel like that was his sort of outlet, if you like. So you had this bank and insurance, like, oh, I'm going to go and do this, and there'd be hints of who he was in that. But aside from that, this is the person that I feel he was. He loved his jazz, he loved the music, loved the dancing. And yeah, have a look and see if there's a New York connection somewhere. Is there anything else? He's winking at you, right? Because I was like, have you got a message for Patricia? And he's winking, and I just got, oh, good on you, girl. So I don't feel he would have been interested in this, like the spiritual stuff, you know, when he was here. I don't feel like he ever really thought about it. But it's like he's saying it wasn't as well known about back then as what it is now. But I feel like he's here to help you and to support you. So I feel like he's just like, we've had the hearts, we've had the rainbows and everything else, but I feel like he's just tipping his hat off to you, and that's like, it's just like, it's a sign of respect for you. Oh, is it? Yeah, maybe. Oh, Emily, isn't that weird? Right. Right. What I'm going to do for next week, I'm going to find out a way to try. Okay, separate them. Because I do feel like this man belongs to Patricia. Yeah, I do feel, Emily, like he's Patricia's gentleman. Yeah. Okay. So I'll leave him with his respect to Patricia. And thank you all for joining in and for your feedback. And I will have a think about how I can maybe do this again next week. And I will get some guidance as to how I can maybe do it a little bit differently again next week, I think. But yeah, I'll ask upstairs, and then I'll go to the church and I'll see if anyone's got any hints and tips, and see if I can somehow strengthen the connections that I'm trying to make with you guys. Because one of my other thoughts was to invite you onto the Facebook Live, so then we can actually have the vocal bit. But it obviously depends, because I know, like, I'm quite happy just talking to myself in front of the screen, but not everyone's like as confident on camera. So I will have a think about next week. Thank you all for joining in and participating, and for your feedback. I've really enjoyed this evening, and I hope, even if you haven't had a message, then I hope you've gained something from it, because sometimes there are messages hidden in there as well for others, which is quite interesting. Okay then, guys, thank you all very much, and hopefully I will see you next week. Okay, have a great week. Bye.